Hi, everyone. Dorothea Hendriks here, your coach in presentation skills and in public speaking. Today's video, we're going to look at those crutch words, those filler words like kinda, so, and some of the filler sounds, the ums, the ers, the ahs. Every once in a while, I'll meet somebody who uses not a crutch word, not a filler word, and I will say they're probably an exception to the rule. For most of us, we do. In our everyday conversation, we tend to drop an we drop an we toss in a like, a kinda, and we continue in our conversation. It's something that we're accustomed to in our culture, in our society. It's natural, and it makes us feel comfortable in our speaking. If you're a presenter, that's fine. Dropping in the odd saying the odd filler word, the odd, and or so. No one is going to tar and feather you and run you out on a rail because that is coming across as a natural, comfortable speaker. The problem is when people use excessive amounts of dropping those filler sounds, the ums, the ers, and dropping those crutch words, those filler words, the likes, the ands, the so's. For example, the other day I was scrolling through some YouTube videos, happened upon someone who had a very interesting subject, and I thought, I'm going to take a listen. So I clicked on to the video. Oh, mercy, 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 mercy. Within the first minute and a half, 2 minutes, the speaker had 21 ummers. Holy Hannah. By the time the speaker got to the middle of the presentation, there were fewer. And by the time the person got to the end of the presentation, 13 minutes later, there were fewer still. Here was a person who was, and probably still is, an expert in their field. Kudos and credentials from the shoulder right down to the fingertips, the end of the fingertips. What a way to actually make people feel uncomfortable and lose their attention, especially at an opening when you're filling your opening where you're trying to engage your audience with a multitude of ums, ahs. Almost every other word was filled with an extraneous sound. Huh, so distracting. That did an injustice to the topic and an injustice to the speaker. Now, are you a person who uses extraneous filler sounds, extraneous filler words? Well, I don't know, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. The key here, if there is something, if this is important to you, if this is important for you, then you need to find out. Now, I've got 5 steps here, and the very first one is you have to become self-aware. You have to be aware that you're doing it. And so how are you going to become aware? Well, one way of becoming aware is to have somebody record you. Either you record yourself. We have all kinds of devices now where it's painless, seamless. When you're recording yourself on your mobile, you can do that. Or if you just can't do it, handle it, then get a friend to do it, get a coworker to do it, and record just not one presentation, but one here, one there, another one, and then overall, go to step number 2. Step number 2, identify where you use the crutch words, where you use the filler sounds. Is it in the beginning? Because maybe you haven't built up to your comfort level yet, and that start is always a bit wobbly for you. Maybe that's when you use those crutch words, the like, or sprinkle in too many ums, ers. Is it in the beginning? Is it when you tell stories? Often for us, we don't structure our stories. Maybe we should, but we don't. And we do them impromptu. And when we do something impromptu, chances are high that we insert more filler words, more crutch words, more sounds, the ums, the ahs. Is it when you tell stories? Is it when you're handling the Q&A, the question and answer session? Check that out, because sometimes they can be a bit of, unnerving, because we really have to be on our toes sometimes for the questions that are being asked. Or is it just that you sprinkle those ums, ers, ahs, those filler words throughout your entire presentation? So step number 2, you have to identify. Once you've identified where and when, the next thing is, number 3, decision time. Make a decision. Are you going to do anything about it? Yes. Oh, yeah, you're going to do something about it? Okay, well, then just realize that it will take time and effort and work. It's kind of like being overweight in a way, and then now you have to start losing some pounds. Doesn't happen in a couple of days. It happens over a period of time with consistent practice, consistent effort. If your decision is, yes, I'm going to do something about it. And if your decision is, no, too much work, ain't going to do it, then fine, you're not going to do it. And you know that you're just going to be a speaker who has those ums, ers, ahs, and crutch words in forever, as long as you're going to be doing presentations. And if that's fine with you, then that's where you are. But if you really want to polish, look more prepared, and come across more professional, then you want to work on it. Make that decision. And the next thing, step 4, check your sentence length. Just out of curiosity, when you're looking at what you're presenting, what you're speaking about, check your sentence length. Are your sentences long? When we write emails, letters, formal documents, we often tend to use longer sentences. However, speaking in long sentences really lend themselves to somebody putting in a kinda, somebody putting in a and, because the sentences are so long. We need to catch our breath, and then we pause. So check your sentence length. Shorter sentences are always easier and more effective when we're speaking. The next step that you can do is think about inserting a pause. Instead of that like sound or the crutch word and a kind like, think about inserting the pause. Now, even when you pause for a split second, it may seem like an eternity if you're not used to it. But know that it's not an eternity, and know that when you're standing in front of a group of people, whether it's your coworkers, your peers, a formal convention presentation, and you're standing there and you're not speaking for just a second, but looking out at your audience, showing that you're comfortable in your own skin, you're exuding a confidence. You're letting the people know that you're confident in yourself. The other thing that a pause does, it helps the audience too, because now they have a moment, a split second or so, to digest, to think about what you just said. And every once in a while, that's what an audience needs. They need some time to digest what the speaker is saying, to think about it, wrap their head around it, be able to incorporate it with the rest of the information they already know. So pausing. Practice pausing. The other thing that you can do, you can do pausing and add a phrase, but adding phrases is really effective as well. So where you could pause, you might say, let's move to this other point, or let me add, or in addition to, or let's go back to what we just looked at a few minutes ago. Whatever the phrase, there will be something here that will help you, a transitional phrase that will take you from this idea to the next idea, that will take you from what you're talking about in the sentence here to what you want to continue talking about in the next sentence. And there are oodles and oodles and oodles and oodles of transitional phrases that you can find on the internet if you want to suss them out, search them out. So become aware. If you're interested, become aware. The next thing, identify where and when you're using those crutch sounds, those filler words. Make a decision. You're going to do something about it? Yes? No. Check your sentence length and think about where you can insert the pause or pop in a phrase. If you find that my videos, which I present every Wednesday, if you find that they're helpful and you haven't signed up for my YouTube channel, haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Let me know. When I see people are here, people have subscribed, it lets me know that I'm giving value. And it lets me know that you find this of value. And if you have any comments, any questions, please, toss them to me and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. The other thing is it also helps me with my analytics, but more is knowing that I'm giving value. And if you already have subscribed, thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time, this is Dorothea Hendriks wishing you mountains of success.